Today, I'll be forcing Megabonk on you all because I've played far too many hours of this game and still haven't unlocked everything yet. But I don't need to unlock everything because this game is liquid crack laced with Fent injected straight into my survivor slot pleasure center of my brain. I am going to glaze Megabonk harder than a Tim Hortons donut. This game is the equivalent of a Moose Tracks ice cream sandwich between two Joe Louis, wrapped in fruit by the foots, pureed with the TCRI ooze, and injected straight into my eyeballs. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about, like, a $10 indie game, well then I've got about 10 more minutes of this video where I just explain what the game is to you and show you some footage, so hopefully you can go and buy this game, because I think it's already sold like 1 million copies by the time I've been able to record this, and like 80,000 concurrent players at its peak on Steam. The accolades speak for themselves, people. So now that we've got that nice little introduction out of the way, I'll now go on and tell you all about how Megabonk functions. Now, it's a pretty simple game if you've played any game that is what I believe is referred to in some circles as a Survivors-like or a bullet heaven. I'm not quite sure what we're calling the genre. I guess it's somewhat like a Metroidvania where we're just going to take the one game that made it super popular and use that as the moniker. Megabonk is a Survivor-like game where it is akin to Vampire Survivors in that regard, where you select a character, you go into the level, and you do the best you can to survive that level for as long as you can, or complete some mission requirements there within. Upon completing some of those requirements, you will unlock new characters, or new weapons, or new items to find in those levels, which will make progressing through higher tiers or farther levels a lot easier. It's the natural sense of progression in the game. In Megabonk, you start with two characters. One of them is a fantastical Mr. Fox, named Fox, who casts Fireball, and the other is a knight who has a lot of armor named Sir Oofy, who swings sword. Very simple characters. Much like in other games, they always want to start you out with just a few little things so you can sort of get the grasp of the basic mechanics, and then move on to the more difficult ones as you unlock new characters and make new achievements for yourself and want a little bit of a different playstyle. My favorite one to start out with was Fox, who is just the magical fox man who runs around and shoots fireballs. Gotta love that. What's not to love in that regard? So he's the ranged character, and with that comes the safety that comes with being able to stay away from bad guys. Do I ever stay away from the goblins, the skeletons, and the giant pustule spiders that come and explode on me? No, I'm right there in melee range, despite having a ranged attack that shoots quite far and keeping me safe. So, we all make mistakes in life, and my mistake is having a smooth brain. But the main goal of this game is to slay monsters, and in slaying monsters you will earn gold. That gold is then used to open chests. Those chests are then used to give you items. Those items then help you with your plan and strategy that will eventually lead you to hopefully victory. Because let's be honest, most runs are not going to end in victory for most of us all the time. We have to get good, we have to unlock better items. And also, while killing monsters, you'll also earn experience. These experience points will let you level up your character. While leveling up your character, you will be given a random selection of 3 items. Now, these can be new items if you have slots still available, which you start with 2 weapon slots and 2 tome slots, which can be upgraded to 4 as you play the game. I still haven't got to 4 each yet. And if these items are white or gray when they roll up into your level up stats, it means you haven't picked them yet. And if you do pick them, they will go onto your character's equipment inventory, and then you'll be able to start leveling them up further when you level up next. If they show up again in your 3 randomized item slots when you level up, you can choose one, and it can be anything from a common up to a legendary. Common upgrades give you less stats, but still progress your strategy along the path that you'd wish to see it progress on. Now, legendary upgrades, which are the highest tier upgrade, because it goes, I believe, common, rare, epic, legendary, and I think there's a 5th one in there that I'm uncommon. There we go, the blue is uncommon. And when you're going through and picking these, you generally want to be picking stuff that has a higher rarity or a higher color, because that will give you more stat increases to your strategy that you're going for. Now, that's not always necessarily the best course of action, because sometimes you could take a blue uncommon level up for one of your weapons, but maybe there's like a tome that you haven't seen yet in the game, like a movement speed tome or an extra XP gain tome that you'd really like to grab, but if you do, you'll miss out on the damage output, but it'll offset your game in a little bit more of a strategical way. And that's where the balancing act of Megabonk comes from with many other Survivor-like games, is you have to know when to upgrade your damage output and when to upgrade your supporting stats. Because if you don't have enough damage output, you're not going to be killing monsters, which means you're not going to be gaining XP, which means as that timer's tracking down, which, by the way, I didn't mention the timer, but you have a timer, and that timer is tracking down from, I believe, 8 or 10 minutes, and if it reaches 0, the final swarm happens where a ton of ghosts show up to ruin your day. The ghosts progressively get stronger and stronger. After a minute, I believe dark purple or black ghosts they might be dark blue, they show up and they just start wrecking your stees. Unless, of course, you've done well in the run and you have enough damage output to clear those ghosts as well. But then more ghosts will show up. So that final wave is kind of like your final timer that you really don't want to hit. But the whole main thing of this game is you get those minutes in order to try and find the boss gate. Now, sometimes you start a run and the boss gate is right in front of you, so you know exactly where it is, so you know where to get back to after you go out and venture out into the little map. And when you're adventuring on the map, you want to focus on finding very specific interactable objects. Some of those interactable objects are going to be like charge stones or charge pylons, and when you get there, you want to stand next to them for long enough for them to activate, so the magical runes appear inside of them. When you do, you'll be given a new, like, buff for your character that's not like your weapons or tomes that you can pick up. These are like stat increases that can give you stuff like extra movement speed, extra pickup range, so you can suck items in from farther. You can get extra jumps or extra jump height. There's even aerial builds where if you have more jumps and special items that allow you to do more damage while airborne, you can just stay in the air for like 40 seconds and just nuke people down with extra damage. It's crazy all the different types of ways you can customize your experience while making these runs. Some of the other things you can find when exploring the map are things like the challenge markers, which look like two stone swords on a mantle or a pedestal. And if you activate those, a couple harder to defeat enemies will show up and spawn. And if you beat them, you'll get a treasure chest that's already unlocked, giving you another item, hopefully of a higher rarity, in order to upgrade your character and make it stronger for the run. And a few things that I had to figure out that I'll let you know here is that if you come across one of the boss curse statues, which looks like a cloaked figure, it looks a little bloody, if you activate those, what'll happen is for that level that you're currently on until you go through the boss gate, every boss that spawns will spawn an additional boss. So you're now fighting 2 bosses, 3 bosses, 4 bosses, up to 6 bosses, I think. Don't summon 5 little Anubises. They just shoot out Gert beams forever and you can't dodge them and then die in a few seconds. Don't do it. So the main bread and butter of Megabonk is the same as many other why would I say Souls-like? Survivor-like games. It's the same as many Survivor-like games. You want to keep your damage output high to get enough experience to keep leveling constantly, to get those stat increases so you can progress through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And in doing so, by meeting those certain criteria, by beating stages, by killing a certain amount of characters, by collecting a certain amount of items, or dealing a certain amount of types of damage, you'll unlock new characters. And those new characters can be purchased with silver. Silver is a special currency you gain in the game that is outside of the inside of the game. You get gold inside the game and silver for outside the game. And in the main menu, you can use silver to unlock new weapons, new items, new tomes, new characters, even skins. So if you really like a character and you don't really want to play any others, you can use your silver to start unlocking different colors for the characters that you do enjoy playing. And those character skins are even tied behind some character progression as well, like getting the character to rank 100, so playing it enough and surviving enough and earning enough experience, as well as other things like killing 15,000 enemies or defeating the boss of a certain area in under 5 minutes or 6 minutes. So there's a lot of challenges here, so that way once you start getting a good feel for the game and you're like, well, what can I do next? You can start aiming to meet those goals, to start unlocking new things for yourself, so the game gets deeper and deeper and deeper the more you play. And that's one of the big medals of good game design, is as you're playing more and more of the game, you are encouraged and driven to try new things and use new builds in order to unlock more things, so that way you can experience more of the game. There are many games that I've played that once you get more than a few hours in, it's like, okay, I found the one character that works good for me. There's not really much else that I'm unlocking. And you just kind of get driven into a lane, right? A single file lane, and you feel kind of like you've got blinders on, and like the game isn't sort of guiding you to explore. But with Megabonk, I never feel that. I want to try new characters because they're silly. The jokes in this game also, guys, are insane, which we'll touch on in just a minute here after we're done going over some of the core mechanics. But yeah, so it's a testament to good game design that the more you play, you don't just want to stick with one character. You want to unlock the new characters you're unlocking because they're either absurd, like a skeleton who rides a skateboard, or a monkey with sunglasses that can climb up the walls of the stage. Or even, there was a guy I recently unlocked, which is a hazmat guy who throws poison vials. Like, there's just stuff like that make you want to keep experiencing what you're unlocking and strive to unlock even more. As I said at the top of this video, I haven't even attempted to unlock everything yet in this game. There is so much content here to unlock for, like I said, like $10 or $11 Canadian, which is like $7, $8 American maybe at most. So like, there's so much content here, I haven't even attempted to unlock it all. And with that, I don't know of everything past what I've already done, but I know I wanted to make a video about this because this game is that addictive. This game is that good. This game has me in its sweet, delicious thralls, getting its tendrils inside my brain, making me want to play more. In fact, I've got footage playing right next to me of this game so I can just look over to it and get inspired about what I want to say, because these things that I do for these videos aren't really scripted. I might have some points I want to talk about, but other than that, I don't have a script for these things. I just sort of jaw on and talk about it because I want it to be pure. I want it to be from my gut. I want it to be deliciously baked in an Alaska. I know baked Alaska is not like that, but still, you know what I mean? I want it to be in there. I want it to be from the heart. I want it to be spoken as if we were sitting on a couch together. And with that, I haven't unlocked everything, so I don't know if we can do things like mutate the weapons and tomes that we get into higher variants of them if we get them to max level. I haven't even reached that part yet, because I'm still struggling to try and beat tier 3s and tier 2s of certain stages. Which is crazy, but it's one of those things where I'm trying new characters, so I'm not getting better with just one for progression. I'm trying to do new things. I'm trying to experience more of the game. I'm taking my time. I'm digesting it. I'm letting it sit in me like a nice food baby, waiting to be birthed later on. And speaking of weird jokes that kind of don't make sense, but also just called this game shit... This game has a weird, ridiculous sense of humor. Like, if you find I think the suspicious merchant, I don't know if his name is Suspicious Merchant, I forget his name, I just roll up to him and buy his stuff and leave, because I'm too focused on murder. But if you find the merchant in the levels, and you buy stuff from him, he laughs at you and says, haha, thanks, loser, and then he leaves. Like, you got scammed. He sold you garbage and you got scammed. Now, the items you buy aren't garbage, but to him, I guess they are. You know, and there's this whole thing of, like, while you're exploring the levels, there's a bush you can find, and if you click it, it just starts attacking you with a sniper rifle. You know, there's a caged monkey that you can free if you find the golden key and then find the cage in the same run. Like, there's just small things where one of the bosses in the desert is called Scorpionacy. You know, and then you duplicate items by using a microwave. There are so many small, weird, outlandish jokes. Some of the character names, even themselves, are references and just crazy jokes. Like, when I started the game up one time, it just said bonk or be bonked. And it's like, yeah, bonk or be bonked. It's a dog-eat-dog world. In my case, it's a fox-eat-fox world. And if you bonk, you don't get bonked. And if you don't bonk, you get bonked. And then you start over. Hopefully with the footage that is accompanying my insane ramblings, you'll be able to kind of get a feel of what the game is like. Like, the art style is wonderful. I love it because it's nostalgic to me. It's got that, like, PlayStation 2 angular polygonal feel to it, while also being far more stylized than I would expect of a game of that era. It's got decent shadowing. The creature models are good and have extra little details. Like, the guys I'm looking at right now have their little slimes rolling around and their tongues flip up and down. It's great. And it just reminds me of that nostalgic time, like I said, of that PS2 era, but it's got that newer, modern gen game feel, you know? It's got the best of both worlds. It's the blending together of everything I said in the beginning of this video, shot directly into the pleasure center of my brain. You know, injected straight into my eyeballs. And that's kind of where we are in a lot of indie games right now, is we're in that early PlayStation renaissance where people are loving the PlayStation 1 graphics, people are loving the PlayStation 2 graphics. One of my favorite recent games I played was Sorry We're Closed, which has that PlayStation 1/2 survival horror aesthetic, which is great. It's wonderful. I'm happy to see this style come back like 30 years later almost. It's always crazy to me that games that have a good style survive longer than games that go for, like, realism or go for looking like humans or anything else like that. A game that has a great style always survives. And I think that's a great metaphor for a survivors-like game, and much like Megabonk, is when you go for your style and you go all in for your plan, you will survive. And that's just like what it is with the runs. If you start focusing on the kind of runs you want to do, like for Fox, I usually try and go for the Fire Staff, the Lightning Staff, and another ranged weapon so I can get, a lot of ranged attacks so I can keep things far away from me because I don't have a lot of armor. I don't have a lot of health. I usually try and go for a glass cannon build. If I focus on that, my runs are usually really, really good. But if I start straying and trying to do something different, like trying to go for missions while I'm trying to level up like the Thorns Tome to unlock that character because I don't have it yet, then it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to fail because you don't need thorns on Fox, because thorns means when the enemy hits you, it takes damage back, but the enemy's never going to hit me. The enemy is never going to hit me because I'm a ranged character, so probably not the best tome to use with fantastical Mr. Fox over here. And another thing that I forgot to mention earlier about this game was just that it is like an auto-attacker, so you generally never have to worry about clicking or doing a bunch of things on screen. You can do a wicked power slide, which is awesome. It makes the game feel good. You can even slide down the slopes in the game and get extra speed to sort of gain distance on a horde of enemies if you're kind of caught in a bad place. But other than that, there's not really much to the game other than wandering around, shooting the bad guys, finding the boss portal, and making sure you can get out in a timely manner before that final wave starts happening and kind of overwhelms you eventually. But that's the most fun part, is in Megabonk I feel like it's a little bit easier and more accessible than some of the other Survivors games just because it gives you tiers to their levels. So when you start on the forest, if you beat tier 1, it doesn't immediately then send you to tier 2. You get to go back to the main menu, you get to spend your currency, your silver, you get to upgrade your items, you get to unlock new stuff, and then go back in. Then you can select going in for tier 2. If you select going in for tier 2, you'll start at tier 1, then you'll go to tier 2, and if you beat tier 2, you'll unlock tier 3. And then once again, if you want to re-go in, you can select tier 3, then you have to go through all 3 again. So there's that natural progression of needing to commit yourself and prove that you're good enough for level 1, good enough for level 2, and then beat level 3. And then you can also unlock different levels and things as you play the game. Like the second level is the desert, which is usually pretty easy to get through. It basically just playing the game for an hour or two will get you the second level, which is like maybe a few runs depending on how well you're doing. And with that, then you can go to the desert, same thing over again. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. And during that entire time, basically the focus is play how you want to play. If you want to be hyper-focused on one character and get really good with that character and start progressing through the game and unlocking all the stuff that you can with that one character, perfect, wonderful, do that. If you want to be like, oh, this is a silly, fun character, how do I unlock this guy? And you go, oh, well, I need to unlock the poison flask. How do I do with the poison flask? Oh, I need to kill enemies with, I need to do 40 enemies, I think, with the moldy cheese, and then I get, okay, let's do that. And then you do those things. And then you unlock those characters, and you get new characters to experience with, and you might find a character that really gels with how you like to play games, and then you might be able to want to progress with that character, or you might just be like a completionist person and want to fill out the whole grid before you start, going through and doing everything and trying to find out all the extra levels that unlock later and stuff. So play this game as you will. It's wonderful. Just spend time playing this game. It's one of those indie games where I saw it come up on, I think, Twitter. I added it to my Steam wishlist. It came out. A couple days later, I bought it, and literally I have played it every day since it came out, because I get addicted to Survivor-likes. I get addicted to these games. Vampire Survivors, I think I've got like 100 and something hours in. I don't know how many, but it's too many. It's far too many. Like, the only other game I have more hours in is probably TF2. And you can't really beat the price. Like I mentioned before, the price is like less than $10 for USD. I think it was like 10 or 11 Canadian. And for the amount of enjoyment that I've had and the amount of love that I feel has been put into this game, it's honestly probably worth a 20. Like, I'm just going to say it right there. It's worth double what it's being offered for right now. So buy it now. Get it now. Get it now before they realize they can make more money. I don't think the indie dev would do that, but, that's just the joke, right? So yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say for Megabonk other than to recap everything. If you like the art style of that old PlayStation era, you'll like it. If you like sometimes silly, goofy, weird references, odd puns, stupid things like bad guys named Scorpionacy, you'll love that in this game. If you like Vampire Survivors or Survivors-like game style play, you're gonna love this one because it grows so naturally with its depth of play. And if you like supporting indie games and indie devs and you don't want to spend a ton of money because you just dropped like $5,700 on the Steam Autumn sale, this is only $10 more. It's a budget-friendly game. It can probably run on a potato. It's just a game I can't glaze hard enough. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. I make these sort of unscripted, semi-review type videos every now and then when I just want to bring to light a game that I've been really enjoying or have been playing for a little while and I think needs a video to be made about it. And if you aren't already, please do think of liking, commenting, sharing, following, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. If you're seeing any of these clips on like TikTok or the shorts, please check out my other videos. I'm currently playing through Silksong right now. I think we just started doing some crazy stuff in that. I don't know what episode's up, so I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't plan these things out ahead of time. Wow, a dude who makes unscripted videos not planning stuff ahead of time? Who would have guessed? But that is all for today, and as always, if you're used to my Let's Play episodes, you'll know what's coming next, and if you're new here, I truly do appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me here today. It means the world to me that people come to my channel and sit and spend just a little bit of their day with me. It really does make everything feel much better in life when everything's chaotic and sad. Having a nice little nugget of happiness and injecting Megabonk straight into those pleasure centers of our brains is what we truly need in this dire time. But once again, thank you all for joining me, and until next time, please take care, everybody.